Hey traders, John Howell here. Today I want to talk to you about the one stock that I'm looking at right now that is getting ready. It's been stretched so much, it's so oversold, and I've been watching it, and I'm getting ready to hit it hard very, very soon because I believe we're going to see a slingshot back to the upside. It's been going down like crazy because of the Chinese markets, but I believe once we get to certain points, I'm going to share with you technically what I'm looking for. And if we get this, we're probably likely to see a massive move up for a good 6 to 12 months after we find a good bottom. I'm going to share with you exactly what I'm sharing here. Also, I'm going to talk to you about what type of trader are you? This is something I really had to learn when I first started trading. Is like, can you sit in front of the screens for a long time? Like, what style of trader do you fit for your personality? I'll talk about my story and how I've come to surpass, or how I've come to understand my trading style, which has also benefit my trading results in the markets. Let's get straight into it. Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video, because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty traders, let's get straight into it. If you haven't done so yet, guys, I'm running a flash sale, $7 only. To my complete trading course. I used to obviously it's a massive sale there. Normally sell it for like $500 or something like that, but just for $7 today, guys, you can get access to that. I've only been doing it for the last couple of days, so when the timer on the page goes to zero, I'm not sure when you're going to see in this video. So whenever the timer on the page goes to zero, then that's when the price goes back up to the normal price. So guys, first thing in the description, you can get access to that. And if you're not happy with the trading course, just let me know and I'll refund your money, and you can keep it anyway. So that's how confident I am. So just go get the help you need, guys. So the one stock the first thing I promised you guys was the one stock that I'm looking at right now, and that is, let me actually bring up just the charts here. I'll bring up the S&P chart here for a minute. Very, very, very interesting times looking at the S&P 500. Is BABA, okay, B-A-B-A. Let me show you technically what I'm looking at here in these markets, okay, and I'll share with you what I'm looking at here. What I'm looking to see. I'm looking to see. I actually did let me just take everything off the screen here for a minute, okay. Let's actually look at this. We'll take off the 9 moving average here for a minute. Let's just actually just take all the moving averages off the screen. Actually, you know what? I'll just keep that on there. So what I'm looking at here is I can see that we've had a very, 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 very strong downward trend. Okay, very strong downward trend. And generally, as the market goes down, excuse me, as the market continues down, it generally ends with a capitulation move. So I actually saw this big strong move down here as a bit of a capitulation move, and we're probably likely to see a move back up. But as you can see, right, we had a capitulation, and then it started just going very, very, very weak to the upside. Whenever you get that pattern, okay, guys, so I want to share something with you in the markets, okay? If you're brand new to the markets, there is something called momentum in the markets, okay? We have strong move and we have weak moves. So what that means, if you ever look at this here, right? So we have a move from there to there. See how that's a very strong move down? So this strong move down, okay, this strong move down is the sellers in control. I'm actually just see this pattern now. I want to teach you this. I'll get to, where I'm looking to enter on BABA and what I'm looking for in just a minute, okay, guys? I'm trying to teach you how to become much better traders, okay? So if you see this example here, right, these are what you want to, just looking at these patterns, is because if we have a strong move down, notice this is strong sellers, but notice when the buy started to come back in, notice how we actually had very, very weak movement, right? So we had a strong move down, and notice the buyers couldn't really do much. And so therefore, guess what happened? We had another strong move down, and then guess what? And then the buyers couldn't really do much. There wasn't really any buying activity there at all. So you can see we're getting these strong selling down, and then we're getting these very weak sideways periods. This is what we call sellers in control, or the momentum is in the selling legs. So every time the buyers try to pick back up, they're very, very, very weak compared to the sellers. And so, but what does that mean though? It means that you're seeing so much more dominance in the selling arena. This is for short-term trading, right? So guess what happened here? You had a big strong move down, And then guess what happened? We had this very sort of just weak movement, again. And now look what's happening again, right? We're just going through another movement on the downside. But let me share something with you here. All right. Actually, you know what? I'll talk about that in just a minute. There's something really important that I want to share with you. I'll talk about that in just a minute. But as you can see, right, I'll stay on this thing. As you can see, whenever we do get these patterns, okay, so a lot of times you can see how the stock's not doing much here. There's nothing really too clear, right? We're not getting strong moves up. We're not getting strong moves down. We're not really getting anything there. But when we start to get these moves here, that means the sells are in control. And so it's very, very, very important not to fight that, okay? So that's it. Just whenever you see a stock doing that, just don't fight that stock, okay? So that's the overall picture. But as I said before, this stock here I'm looking to buy as an investment, okay, not a trading opportunity. And so if I share with you one thing, if I squeeze my charts up, look what's happening here. We have been just getting absolutely hammered on the downside for Barber, and we're probably likely to see a lot more downside coming soon. What I'm looking for with Barber is this. I think Barber has like a $300 plus value in the markets. We are so oversold on Barber, but the thing about being oversold, right? I say we're so oversold, and I'm looking for this setup. But just remember, guys, that anytime you get into a trade, just realize, okay, this actually could be a losing trade. If it is, because there's no guarantees, am I protecting myself? Okay, so just always keep that in mind. I want you to protect yourself in the markets. If you're YOLOing into one trade because you think this is definitely going to make money, you're probably going to make a big mistake out of that, right? You're probably within that sort of YOLOing. It actually may be a successful trade, but you may manage it properly, you may manage it wrong, and then actually get out of the wrong time. So anyway, we can see the market's coming down here to a major significant low level through here. So I'm watching Barber very, 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 very closely because it could be, I'm looking for a capitulation move like that, like a real big capitulation move coming below this sort of 131 level. And if we do that, I'm looking for a bear trap, right? I'm looking for like sort of a false breakdown. If we do get something like this, then I need to see the buy start to come back in. Because if we do that, and then we start to come right back up again like that, above this level, that's going to give me a lot of confidence that this is going to be a final low for quite some time. And we're probably going to start to make our way back up towards these highs again over a good 12-month period. You know, it may even sooner, right? Depending on how far we've actually been overstretched to the downside. Just massive, massive overstretched to the downside. So maybe even sooner. But that's the one thing I'm looking for here. I'm looking for this because this is a major low. So the market's probably likely to try to run towards this low. And if it does do this, okay, it's going to create what I call a slingshot move where we get the move coming down, and see how it's like elastic band, right? We're stretching down, stretch, and then you pull it back, and then it snaps back to the upside. So I need to see my pattern first, but that's the one thing I'm looking for because I believe Barber is getting there real soon. So over the next couple of weeks, to a month, I'm going to continue watching Barber. And if I get my certain setup, I think it's going to be an incredible opportunity for an investment opportunity, along with knowing that I could be wrong. So I need to have my plan in place to say if I am wrong, what's going on here. And so the way that I like to invest in these things anyway, guys, is like if I do this here, how can I have a potential 20 or 30% return on my account if it hits my ultimate target and a 2% risk? That's the way that I like to do it, right? So for example, the way that I do it is this, is that if the market flushes down here and then we come back up and we do there, okay, well, cool. I'm going to enter here, but I'm going to have a stop here. But my ultimate target is going to be maybe 300 or maybe even an all-time new high in 12 months. Do you see what I'm saying there? So even if you get into an investing opportunity, like I'm investing in this thing, I think it's going to do really well. Firstly, you need to have some sort of a pattern. Don't just buy the dip, right? This, like for example, don't just buy Barber because it's dipping down, right? I'm waiting for a potential bear trap to get into it. That's the first thing. You never just want to buy it. second thing is that if I do get into here, and I'll calculate, okay, that's where my low level is, that's going to be my 2% risk. But if that happens, that's my 2% risk. But then guess what? This here could be a 20%, maybe even more on the upside of a potential reward. So always keep that in mind whenever you want to try to have a big upside potential with small downside risk. Make sense, guys? So that's the one stock that I'm really looking forward to. Now, let's actually talk about the last thing I promised you, which is what type of trader are you in the markets? This has taken me quite a long time, 17 years, been trading the markets now for. And the one thing that I've done a lot of different styles of trading. And what I mean by that is that I've done a lot of different, I've spent a lot of time doing, like 1 day trades where I'm getting in today, I'm holding it for a target for that day, and then I'm getting out. I've been in trades where, or should I say, I've been in situations where I've sat in front of the screen for like 4 or 5 or 6 hours, or it's sometimes 10, 12 hours a day trading the markets. I've been that guy. I've been that trader. I've also been the trader where I look at the markets 2, 3, 4 hours a day. You know what I mean? Like, I've been these styles of trader. And one of the best things that has helped me is like, what style of trader am I? And I'm going to ask you, like, what style of trader are you? And what I mean by that is that how does sitting in front of a screen, like if you want to intraday trade, but then you are not, you're not that style of trader, and you want to sit there for 5 or 6 or 7 or 10 hours a day, and you're not that type of person, then it's going to be very, very hard. And let me explain what I'm saying here. When I did the intraday trading was good. I mean, 1 minute charts, 2 minute charts, 5 minute charts, watching the intraday's charts unfold and then taking opportunities. I think there's an immense amount of opportunity and an immense amount of money to be made if you have a good trading setup, and you stick to the setup, which is always a big thing, right? I guarantee you, if you're not doing well right now and you're watching this, you want to consistently do well out of the markets, well, consistently follow one thing. The end. So I realized that me sitting in front of a screen for a long time like that, I would always get really, really, really exhausted, and I wouldn't be able to make good decisions. I'd get really tired, mentally fatigued. I'd be like, I'm so tired. Just get so tired. And I'm like, and I just noticed that, right? Especially pushing it for 10 and 12 hours a day. And even like sitting in front of a screen looking at markets, because if you're looking at charts, you're analyzing it. It takes a lot of mental energy, right? And so I noticed over time that my performance would decrease the amount of hours I sit in front of the screen because I'd make mistakes and so on and so forth. And that's where, like right now, I like to trade only an hour per day. And what I mean by that is that I trade the last hour of the US market. I have scans to help me find these particular setups that I'm looking for. And then I do my trading, and that's it for the day. Every now and then I'll do some other type of trading, maybe a couple of hours with the futures market and stuff like that. But majority of my trading is just done for 1 hour per day. Because I know with that 1 hour per day, I can focus. I can be totally focused on the markets for that 1 hour. I can make really, 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 really good decisions because I'm not tired. I'm so focused. And then guess what? After that hour's done, then I can go focus on the other stuff that I want to do for the day. And in a result of that, I do a lot less trading than I used to, but I make so much more money now, and my return is so much higher, so much greater than it used to, because I'm not making as many mistakes. Make sense? So I'm actually trading less hours, a lot less hours now than I ever have in my last 17 years, but I'm making but the return is so much more greater than it has been in the last 17 years. And that's only because it comes back down to my focus. I can really focus 100% and give it everything I've got for an hour. But when I start to get into 4 or 5 or 6 hours like that, it just gets so tiring. Now, maybe if I did some time management where I sat in front of the screen for an hour or an hour and a half, and then I got up and walked away and did some things to build the energy back up and come back down and sat down again, and maybe if I did something like that, it'll be a different story. But my experiences has been that may be different for you. Maybe you don't have a problem sitting in front of a screen for that long, watching the markets. Now, there's a difference. There's also something else underneath the surface that's also going to come play if you are trading that style where you're watching the short-term time frames. And that becomes, you know, the mindset, right? The mindset of you being a good trader. And the thing is this, is that if you're intraday trading and you don't have any good trades there, and you've got no trade setups, but you see these big moves happening, you start to get that fear of missing out. That's what generally happens, right? And then guess what happens? Then you start to get this fear of missing out. So then you start to jump into stuff that you shouldn't jump into. And this is the downfall of watching and sitting in front of the screen for 4 or 5 or 6 hours per day, 7, 8 hours per day, sometimes 10 hours per day, looking for good trade setups. Now, if you're looking for a good trade setup, have a plan, guys. Have something. Have a pattern, right? Have a setup, right? Don't just say, well, I think this is a good idea to get into. Like, no, wrong. You know, so please don't be that. Okay. So, but the thing is that if you can do that, then fantastic. But I have found for myself is that, like, I always ask myself, why am I trading so many hours? Why am I trading all these hours? And my answer was, because if I trade more hours, then I'm going to make more money. And I actually found the opposite. I have more hours, the more tired, the more mistakes. And sometimes I was always butting heads. I'm like, I do really, really well for a week or two, and then I spend like a few days just taking all this shit. I'm like, why am I doing this for? Like, why am I taking this trade? And so then I realized, because of because of me getting really, really, really tired, that if I can just stand back and then because I originally got into the markets for freedom, right? Freedom and abundance of income. So then that's when I started to change things around, trading the same way, but only trading daily charts, looking for a couple of day moves to a couple of week moves, and just being relaxed, and having scans to help me find these trades. And then therefore, my results started to go up, and my happiness started to go up as well too, because therefore I started to spend more time with my kids, going to the gym, all this other stuff that I like to do outside the markets. I started to build happiness, because if your entire life is just the markets, even though I love the markets, you start to get this sense of emptiness, right? It's like if you're certain that you can make a lot of money from the markets, it's just like after a while it just becomes unfulfilling. It's like, okay, I can make a lot of money, but what else is there to life, right? I need connection, I need significance, I need uncertainty, I need variety, I need a bit of a spice to my life. Instead of like, is this what trading's all about? And that's where I got to. And so guys, hopefully my story and some things I've talked about now is sort of like getting you a question like, what type of trader are you? But it doesn't matter what type of trader, whether you want to sit in front of the screen for an hour per day, make good decisions, and then you're off, or you want to sit in front of the screens for 6 or 7 or 8 hours per day, which again, doing that requires you to have a much more stronger discipline. If you're going to sit in front of the screen for 6 or 8 hours per day, you must have a much more stronger mindset. A stronger mindset means you must be disciplined so much more, because you're going to see these big moves intraday and being okay with not being part of these moves until you get your setup. That's what I'm talking about there. And I hope that at the bottom line, guys, is I hope that I've some of this stuff has really, really, really resonated with you within your trading. And if you want to make it long term in these markets, which 90% of you guys right now won't be here in even just a few months in these markets, because you're blowing yourself out of the markets, because everything I've just said there is probably going to be completely useless to you, because the first step to any successful trader is that they know what they're looking for in a good setup. So that's the very first step that you must take, regardless of whether you long-term trade, you spend a lot of hours spend a lot of hours in the markets, or you only do 1 hour per market. The bottom line is, what are you actually looking for? Are you just looking to get into anything? You're just looking to analyze the charts and get in when you think it's a good idea? Or do you actually have a proven plan to get into it? Like for me right now, and with all my private clients, I teach them a setup that is massively successful. And if you get this setup, it's just like, oh my goodness, it's like free money for the markets. Now they don't come around that often. Like they might come around a few times per month, sometimes less, sometimes more. But when they come around, it's just like, oh my goodness, it's incredible. So anyway, guys, I hope this really helps you out. If you need some help with your trading, then that $7 sale that I'm running right now is for you. Go click on it. On the next page, you'll be able to see all the details, what actually is in the trading course. And I'm also giving a 100% money back guarantee if you're not happy with it. And as a way of saying thank you for at least just trying it out, I'm happy to let you keep the course for free as well too. That's how confident I am that you're going to love it. $7 is not going to change my life, guys, but I know it's going to change yours. Speak to you soon.